This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Get this. Adults with financial literacy skills have 82% more wealth than those who don't. From swimming lessons to piano classes, us parents invest in so many things to enrich our kids' lives. But are we investing in their future financial success? With Greenlight, you can teach your kids financial literacy skills like earning, saving, and investing. And this investment costs less than that after-school treat. Start prioritizing their financial education and future today with a risk-free trial at greenlight.com/iHeart. Greenlight.com/iHeart.
Let your imagination take flight with an AI-powered PC from Lenovo. Whether it's creating digital art, designing new software, or building a portfolio for a future career, our PCs are powered by Intel Core Ultra processors to help students unlock smarter learning and unleash their creativity. That's the power of Lenovo with Intel inside. All you have to do is choose the one that fits your passion. Head to Lenovo.com to shop AI PCs and find your perfect companion. Plus, get 5% off when you create an education account.
Hi, I'm Bob Pittman, Chairman and CEO of iHeartMedia. On this week's episode of Math and Magic, I'm sitting down with the one and only Bobby Bones. We're exploring the power of audio.
Yeah, I don't fit into one specific hole. I think that is what endeared me to listeners. That's why I'm here now, because I talk to people that grew up like me, have sensibilities like me, and have loyalties like me.
Listen to Math and Magic, stories from the frontiers of marketing on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcast, or wherever you get your podcast.
And there you have it. Little double montage. It's a 2 for Tuesday here on the Fan. A 2 for Tuesday, 2 montages for the price of one. You could have actually slid sad eyes at the beginning. Of course, it ain't over technically. We get that. So we will wait.
It's not over till it's over.
We'll wait until, let's see, today's Tuesday. They play Wednesday. So maybe Thursday. But then again, we'll just never know until, you know what? So we'll just never know where that happened. I was expecting a Dido. There's no question. But maybe someday things will get a little easier in the brighter days and the whole that. This text message, I think, kind of sums it all up, really, to be honest with you. It says, at first, I was a little underwhelmed by the We Are the Champions montage, but then I remembered Tennessee hasn't had much practice making them. That's the problem. We don't do We Are the Champions very often in this town. Certainly on the men's side, we don't. But, double montage, so there we go. And every one of those hockey games was overtime, and every one was a 2-1 final,
yes.
right? And did we win 3-1?
Yes.
It was a 4-game series. I gave Deuce, he was excited. He didn't know what I was doing when we were up at Grandview, up at Camp Richard. I said, son, now that you're a grown man, and he started to roll his eyes, right? He thought it was one of those father-son kind of things. I said, this is yours, and I gave him the Frost stocking cap that I got from them earlier, and he was just delighted. He was just, he almost came to tears and wore it immediately, and he wore it quite a bit on the weekend for Frost hockey. Deuce loves hockey. He likes hockey better than basketball. He would get along with you very, very well.
He's a smart man.
He's not, well, let's not get carried away, but he's relatively bright. I'm sure there will be a parade. I don't know how long it will be. I know, again, I understand that compared to the National Basketball Association, the Women's Professional Hockey League just doesn't get as much ink or press in general, not just locally, but nationally, right? It hasn't grown to that size yet, and probably never will get to be a monolithic, if that's the right word, kind of an enterprise. But good for them. That's back-to-back. I mean, they've never not won the World Championship. They've won back-to-back years. They were basically almost identical in the way they did it. They kind of almost like backed into the playoffs. They were losing streaks. They got behind. Didn't they lose the first game in every series they've ever played in the playoffs? And yet they find a way to persevere and win a championship. So now if this team is going to follow the The blueprint from last year will now fire. Did we fire the coach or the general manager last year after we won the championship?
GM.
So now
Natalie Darwitz.
So now we'll probably fire the general manager. I mean, that's what if it's going to be. Just like last year, we'll fire the general manager and move on.
And by we, you mean the league.
Well, yes, the
They're
league.
not even owned by anybody, yeah.
So the league will fire the general manager. We'll have another one. And maybe that's the blueprint for winning world championship. You win a world championship, you fire the general manager. You win a world championship, you fire the general manager. I'm assuming there are some in this town, in the basketball community, that would like to see the general manager of the Wolves fired. Boy, that 20-point fourth quarter by Big Bodega Cat sure would have looked good last night in the Timberwolves uniform, wouldn't it have? Don't you think?
We could have used one of those last night.
We needed one badly.
Can he play defense too?
In Big Bodega Cat, he came through at crunch time. He was big time players come through it in big time moments, and that's what Bodega Cat did to salvage at least they're 2-1 now. Meanwhile, last night there's the one glaring. There are many statistics, many sabermetrics and analytics to take a look at, and the most telling, the most obvious, and I think even Mark Rosen would be able to decipher this without listening to Ben Lieber. 74 points combined for Shea and for Williams, right?
Yep.
21 for Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle.
All right.
And the game was just, it's 128-126. Their stars stepped up big last night on the road to put them in, to get them a victory and put them into a commanding 3-1 lead. Our stars, they laid eggs is what they did. We'll talk more about it on the other side of the break. As a matter of fact, for much of the program today, we've got program password. That'll be cheery. That'll
program password invitational, yeah.
And our matchup starting at 1:15 today tend to be our
the number 2 seed Corey Cove and Justin Gard versus the number 7 seed Tommy Olson and Zach Halverson.
Should be an interesting matchup. I think Tommy and Zach are certainly wild cards in this matchup, but that will be fun. And then the legendary Mark Rosen will join us at 2:00. Let's do this. Let's pause, come back with a little Distat Lat. Now, Tennessee, I do know, has we're still doing bonus bucks.
I don't think we are.
Okay,
I did not see an email on it.
So no bonus bucks. So we'll pass on that. But more to come. More nonstop nonsense. Tomfoolery and skullduggery next here on the Common Man program on the Fan.
Hi, I'm Bob Pittman, Chairman and CEO of iHeartMedia. On this week's episode of Math and Magic, I'm sitting down with the one and only Bobby Bones. We're exploring the power of audio.
The word on the street then was he's too country for pop. But then once I got to country, it was he's too pop for country. So I kind of never really had a place to fit in, but that's exactly how and why I fit. I just embraced that. Like, yeah, I don't fit into one specific hole. I think that is what endeared me to listeners. That's why I'm here now, because I talk to people that grew up like me, have sensibilities like me, and have loyalties like me.
Listen to Math and Magic, stories from the frontiers of marketing on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
KFAN.
Farm Aid 40 is coming to Minneapolis. Join Willie Nelson, Neil Young, Dave Matthews, and more Saturday, September 20th at Huntington Bank Stadium. Celebrate 40 years of music, food, and family farming. Tickets on sale May 16th. Get the full details at KFAN.com. Keyword calendar.
It'd be a couple 13-14 pass Common Man program. Time for Peek at the Purple, brought to you by our pals at Affordable Electric. As we've told you, May is Electrical Safety Month, and Affordable Electric is here to remind you safety starts at home or your business. Their licensed electricians are ready to help with safety inspections, surge protection, panel upgrades, and more, because even small issues can lead to big problems. Whether your space is old or new, Affordable Electric will make sure your electrical system is safe and efficient and up to code. Call 612-331-VOLT or visit affordable-electric.com. Affordable-electric.com. affordable electric is. Wow. I'm starting to actually like it now. Shockingly affordable. Really, if you're looking for Vikings news, I guess it's Oda's today, Teneby. They started today.
Began today.
What does that stand for again? Optional team activities?
I think it's organized team activities.
So it's not optional. You're supposed to be there. That's what I would say. I just wouldn't show up, and they go, "Where were you?" Well, it says it's optional team activities. And they go, "No, it's organ." Oh,
I always love that.
I thought it was optional. Oh, I'm sorry about that. I'll make sure I'm there next year. So organized team activities. Do we have any idea what they do? Are they just in?
They do team activities that are organized.
Yeah, but
by the coaching staff.
Very good. Yes. Do they do like 3-cone drills, blocking sleds, tackling dummies? Do they just do walkthroughs? Do they just hang out? Do they play soft toss? I just wonder what they do.
Oh, I feel like we should be broadcasting live from there right now.
I would like to have been there. Would have saved me about 20 minutes of drive time. I'd love to be over at the new Winter Park.
How's the traffic on that side like coming home? Because it seems like traffic's been a little bit busier the last couple of weeks.
Yeah,
from coming from St. Louis Park.
It's a challenge no matter which way you go. I've opted for 100 to the crosstown. That's the way I go, and then over to 494. That is, I know every trick of the driving trade. I know every nook and cranny. I know how to cut time everywhere. Some of it you probably wouldn't agree with. I'll give you an example. Tell me if you think this. See, I think you think, well, that's not. And maybe I'm putting words in your mouth, but I thought you're like, but that's not the spirit of everybody driving together, all for one and one for all. If you're going down 100 south from here,
okay,
there's the Excelsior 36th Street exit. Okay. So you take that exit. It drives along 100 for a while, and then you can get off on 36, and you can get off on Excelsior. But that lane also is for people coming off of 36 to 100 and off of Excelsior to 100. So you get off on that exit, you just keep following that road, and it merges right back on, so you can pass literally hundreds of cars. There's nothing that says that if you are continuing to go on 100, you cannot use this exit lane. Because there's nothing do you understand what I've mapped out?
I would say legally, you are correct. You should not be arrested you should not receive a ticket for doing it.
I can't.
But you are making the traffic worse by doing it. Because there are now cars in front of you that have to now slow down and stop to let you go in.
No, not if you're just moving along and you slide in. I don't make anybody stop. I'm a really good driver. You probably have to do that because you're riding with your hands at 10 and 2. I've never made anybody stop.
The reason you're doing it is because there's already traffic. So by essence, it's not like you're just going to have like an easy place to slide in.
You want to ride with me? You want to do it again? You want to come with me with my video camera like we did the other day?
You can do it on your own. That's fine.
Why don't you come with me and we'll prove it to you? It's because you don't have the ingenuity or the ability to do it doesn't mean that I can't. I do not slow traffic down in any way, shape, or form. And we've already had highway patrol guy call this. He called us up and he agreed just everywhere should basically be a zipper merge. What I'm doing is I'm eliminating one car from the backup and slipping into there and then coming back on and just sliding right in. I'm not doing, and you know what? Here's what I'll tell you. Too bad for the other people. It's everybody for themselves out there. Yeah, I will never apologize for that. So, but even with doing that, there are, and I'm not going to give away all my tips. I shouldn't even have given away that one.
I'm surprised you did.
That'll work. There are others where when you enter onto a certain roadway, you need to get to the left lane right away. You stay in the left lane for maybe a mile. Then you have to move over to the right lane because the entrance ramps coming from on the right-hand side slow up that right lane. Then you got to get back over to the left. Let me guess, you think that's illegal? You think that's wrong, too, that I move back and forth in my lane?
Can you repeat that again, please?
You get on the road and you enter the highway off the ramp into the right lane. I move over to the left lane because the left lane goes faster.
Sure.
But then what happens is the right lane then goes faster and the left lane stops. So, and I know about where that happens every day.
Yeah.
So I move up into that left lane. I move back over to the right lane. Then I got to get back over to the left lane again.
I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, and that's no different than the Excelsior one because I do the same thing. I don't slow up traffic. So when you know those little tricks of the trades, how about do you think this is wrong? You'll take an exit ramp and then just come right back down onto the highway again. You don't like that one either, do you?
Morally, that is not. It's basically the same thing you're doing with the Excelsior.
Yeah.
One. Yeah.
Morally?
Yeah. And you're causing more traffic by you're causing more stopping and starting from others.
No.
Which is what creates the traffic jams.
Nope. You're wrong. There's nothing wrong with doing that. Absolutely nothing wrong with doing that. Because if there were people coming off of that people come off that exit all the time and have to wait and move on. So I'm just moving my car from this lane to this lane instead. That's all. I'm going to have to take up space in either one of those lanes eventually.
Yes, correct. But you're also now causing others to have to slow down and stop. The stops and starts is what creates all the traffic jams.
Well, have you ever been on these roads? There's not starts and stops. They're all just creeping. So you're just sliding into a spot. That's not slowing traffic.
But they're all close enough on the highway.
They should.
Where there's not just a big spot open for you to just merge into every time. So someone has to slow down for you because it's
they don't have to slow down
traffic.
because they're stopped. So they're letting you in. It's a dead stop at this point. It's not like you're going down the road and they're slowing down. They're
not at a dead stop.
Well, yeah, they are. Do you want to go on my way home and show you where it's not a dead stop? There are at least a dozen.
I'm sure sometimes they are dead stops. Yes.
During rush hour, yes, there are at least a dozen spots in the Twin Cities, if not 2 or 3 dozen, where it is just crawling along stop. People merging in and out. It happens all the time. It's not creating any more trouble at all. It's just you have. The hard part about it...
More people merging than is necessary is going to create more stops and starts.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Not even close. Not even close.
In traffic, yes.
No, not even close. Here's the problem. We've had this debate, too. This is where you, again, don't understand how traffic works. You're one of those guys, when you're driving 70 miles an hour in the freeway, you're right on the guy's tail in front of you. You're very close. That's the problem. If everybody had 3 or 4
Have you seen me drive before?
Well, no, I just know, because we've had this discussion before, and you thought it was ridiculous when I said you should have 3 or 4 car lengths between you and the car in front of you. You laughed.
I don't remember calling that ridiculous.
You laughed at me. I was actually annoyed by your laughter at me. That was the stupidest thing you'd ever heard of, you basically said. And it's like, well, no, because what happens as you're driving and you're going 70 and then somebody brakes in front of you, then you got to hit your brakes right because you're right on them. You don't even have time. If you've got 3 car lengths between you and the guy in front of you hits his brake lights, well, then you can just ease off and tap your brakes and don't have to come to a side. That's where the problem becomes. Everybody wants to ride on everybody, right? Don't have to be right behind everybody. I should teach driving in the Twin Cities.
Well, I think that one's pretty obvious. I don't know why you think I think that's ridiculous.
Well, because that's what you said last time when I brought it up.
I did not.
You laughed at me when I said you should have several car lengths between you and the car in front of you. And you laughed at that.
I would need to rewind the tape.
Oh, I trust me, I remember it well. So anyway, to answer your question, yes, traffic is much worse, but because of my ability to move around, and you got to want to do it too. That's the other problem with it. It sometimes becomes work. It's like, I got to speed up over here and change lanes over here and do this over that and take this exit ramp here and do that. And sometimes it's just like, I think I'll just go ahead. I can cut basically 15 minutes off my drive home. How would you like to cut 15 minutes off of your drive home? I bet you'd do it if you could. I can teach everybody that. I should charge for that. I should do a driving school. By the way, if it's probably still on YouTube somewhere, the quick slip-in.
Yes.
The 394 quick slip-in. Take a look at that and you can learn too how to drive like a pro. Peek at the Purple and driving tips brought to you by AffordableElectric.com. Remember, Affordable Electric is shockingly affordable. We're basically 45 minutes away from program password invitational action. It's Cove and JG. That's a hell of a club.
We'll see. They've never played together before.
Well, I can just tell you they're both very good at the game. And then it's We said it was
Halvey and Tommy Olson.
And Tommy Olson will
and then you're playing Thursday.
I'm playing Thursday. And who are we playing?
It'll be you and Kevin Gordon versus John Kriesel and Mark Rosen.
I saw John Kriesel yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah, at Fort Snelling National Cemetery. He was there at the same time I was. We'll talk a little bit about that as well. On the other side of the break, it's the Common Man program here on The Fan.
Hi, I'm Bob Pittman, Chairman and CEO of iHeartMedia. On this week's episode of Math and Magic, I'm sitting down with the one and only Bobby Bones. We're exploring the power of audio.
The word on the street then was he's too country for pop. But then once I got to country, it was he's too pop for country. So I kind of never really had a place to fit in, but that's exactly how and why I fit. I just embraced that. Like, yeah, I don't fit into one specific hole. I think that is what endeared me to listeners. That's why I'm here now, because I talk to people that grew up like me, have sensibilities like me, and have loyalties like me.
Listen to Math and Magic, stories from the frontiers of marketing on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Carboni's Pizzeria wants to fuel your playoff party. Visit one of the 30-plus locations to enjoy delicious pizza and get ready for the playoff run. Find your nearest Carboni's today at carbonispizza.com.
Dr. Mike, as always, comes up with, and I've had a number of people that have agreed with 10B, but they're soft and passive Minnesotans. They're Minnesota nice people, and that's fine. A number of others would say Common is 100% correct on driving in the cities. And then Dr. Mike says, the ethics of the slip-in are very simple. If the merge is made after the bottleneck where the speed of traffic is increasing, the slip-in actually benefits the flow of traffic by moving cars past the bottleneck. If it's done before the bottleneck where the speed of traffic is decreasing, then it causes other cars to slow down even more and exasperates the problem. The slip-in should only be done while your car is accelerating. If anyone has to hit their brakes, then it was done improperly, and severe punishment is in order. Keep on slipping in, baby. Signed, Dr. Mike. And that's all I've been trying to say. He just said it more eloquently than I could. Cars never slow down when I make maneuvers like getting off on a ramp, getting back on a ramp. I never would ever do that. It's because I've said, as you see if you can find it on YouTube, we did it. I bet it's 15 years ago now. 10B drove with me and we did the 394 quick slip-in. Coming down 394 to get onto the 94 and go through the Lowry Tunnel. And I've said this before. If you're in that lane, that is the west exit for 94. And if you stop and put your signal on and are waiting for people to let you in, that's wrong. You don't let those people in. They're 1 out of 100 or might be from Fargo and didn't understand it. Everybody else knows, and they are the problem. They are the ones that are saying their time is more important, and they are cheating you. And I've said this, if you're going down the 94 West and you can't do a slip-in without just slipping right in without slowing anybody else down, well, then you just have to exit on 94 West and do a U-E and come back the other way. Of course you do. But if you are slipping into another lane from another, and you are doing it seamlessly without throwing in, as Dr. Mike says, you are benefiting the flow of traffic by moving cars past the bottleneck. So we appreciate Dr. Mike coming up with the best way to explain what I was trying to do. I saw this too. Did we ever come up with a name or an open for, we had PAs intercepted emails. What did we do for text messages? Did we ever come up with something for that? I know we'd thought about it, but someone sent this one. Boy, and I'm getting, see, people like these kinds of conversations. I'm getting hundreds of text messages regarding driving in the Twin Cities. But here's one that said, having common breakdown traffic slip-ins is so refreshing compared to PA complaint about fans booing SGA. Were fans booing SGA?
Yeah, when he would touch the ball last night. I mean, they've done it. Yeah, they did in game 3 as well.
I mean, because I watched it, I guess I can't really hear it on television, I mean, I'm sure I maybe heard it early. I know there's another one that people don't really believe this, do they? This one says, there's so many. I'm really sorry. I hate to be the guy that's scrolling back to find. It basically was saying, though, that the only reason the Wolves lost last night was because of the phantom fouls called against SGA. Apparently, he went to the free throw line 14 times. People don't really believe that, do they?
I think there was maybe one that I thought was a phantom foul.
Yeah.
Other than that, I thought they were all
right. Well,
legit.
Exactly. And not just that, but it was, I think, midway through the fourth quarter, he'd only been to the line 4 times. He took 4-3. Forget about to the line. He was 3 for 4 from the free throw line, like early to mid fourth quarter. The fouls started to accumulate late because the Wolves needed to foul.
And they wanted to get the ball to him because he's the best free throw shooter.
That is correct. And that's exactly what happened. It had nothing to do with SGA got to the line because of phantom fouls. It's just, I don't understand the mentality of the fan. I can't think it's every fan out there. The discerning fan, the fan that can separate fandom and reality to what's actually happening on the floor. The reason the Wolves lost is because Randall was awful. Did you see how passive Ant was again? He was 1 for 7 from 3-point range. I'm beginning to think that Ant still doesn't understand the game well enough, because how many times do we hear this from Ant after the game? How about when he said, boy, the press what did he say about it? It's sure different in the pros than it is from AAU. Yeah. What did he say after the game 2 loss, I believe it was, where he said, yeah, well, they're just clogging up the lane. They're smothering me. Can't figure it out. Well, that happens to all the great players in the NBA. Do you think you're the only one that they double team, triple team, try to find a way to get the ball out of his hands, deny him the ball? I think his problem is he either throws it, he either takes a 3 or he drives to the basket. You know what SGA does? That little step back jab step, he hits that 9 out of 10 times, it seems like. He drives into the paint, he does the jab with the foot, he steps back, and it's a fadeaway jumper.
He's also being defended one-on-one.
Yeah.
Which we should question why we're doing that.
That's another point. Ant doesn't have that shot in his repertoire. He just doesn't seem to have it to me. Your 2 star players came up empty. 95 points combined for their big 3. I think SGA had 40. Williams had 34.
He was great.
He was brilliant last night. And Chet Holmgren had 21 points. He was brilliant. He blocked shots.
How did he only score 21, by the way? I felt like he scored way more than that.
It seemed like he did. Absolutely. Now, we got some great, Na was brilliant. DiVincenzo was really good.
That's what hurts, is we finally got those 2 to perform that way, and we couldn't win.
And when you're outscored, when their 2 main guys beat your 2 main guys by 53 points, and it's a 2-point game. I know fans don't want to believe the other team is better. They're always looking for something that went wrong that caused them to lose. I guess the Wolves could win 3 in a row. It's possible. I think it's highly unlikely. As a matter of fact, and you'll probably zap me with the negatrometer again. I think it's over tomorrow night. You know what? We're going to win 3 in a row. We're going to pull this thing off. I think we lose tomorrow night. They are, I think, overall, and I said this at the beginning of the series, I think they're a better team overall, not by a lot. I don't think it's like, What would be another compare? Well, I don't know what to use for comparison. It's not like a really bad team against a really good team. They're both really talented clubs. That's why they're in the Final Four. And SGA shows why he's the MVP of the league. He was brilliant last night. So was Holmgren, and so was Williams. And our guys weren't. Our main guys just weren't. Sorry. And our defense wasn't very good. We turned it over again. How many times did we turn it over?
Too many.
Was it 19 or 21? Or was it 21 turnovers
21.
leading to 19 points? Is that what it was? And it was a game that was there to be won because we only lost by 2. It ain't the officials, folks. It's not the referees losing the game. It's your main 2 guys did nothing. How many times you see Randall trying to back? He's trying to do the Chuck Barkley, back his way into the basket. There's 3 guys trapping him, surrounding him. And then the ball gets knocked away from him. What are you doing? It was frustrating.
Can you explain to me, the one time where Julius Randle was backing down Caruso and literally was like threw a shoulder in him like 3-4 times in a row, like a football type.
Correct.
I'm just trying to comprehend basketball rules. Like, I think that shouldn't be a foul,
right.
So I'm glad nothing was called there.
Right.
So I'm agreeing that the refs made the right non-call there. But there are so many times where there's barely any contact. They call fouls out, and here's a guy just trying to bowl over
correct.
a guy, and they allow it to happen. Like, I don't understand.
There's no rhyme or reason to it, and that's why I've said this for years, and I've been saying it a lot lately because we're talking more basketball because the Wolves for the last 2 seasons have made deep runs by reaching the Western Conference Finals, and it's the one sport that foul, it's tough to call. What's a foul? What's not a foul? Someone tried to troll me by going, well, how did he phrase it about incidental contact or something like that? Know the rules. Or marginal contact. That was it. Marginal contact. Well, who did? But that's still a judgment call by the official. The official has to decide, is that marginal contact or is that contact that is beyond that and should be called a foul? It's subjective. Foul. They shouldn't be, but they are. It's like the strike zone in baseball, where for years I've complained about the umpire that, well, that's my strike zone today, and I know the guy didn't throw a strike. It missed the corner of the plate, but I really like the way he's working the ball today, so I'm going to give him that as a strike. It's not a strike. A strike is in a certain zone. It's the same thing with a foul. You can't, it's difficult to, what is a foul and what's not a foul? There's so much leeway there from official to official.
If at any point Caruso had just fallen over and taken a flop, they would have called an offensive foul.
Yes.
So I don't understand.
You're absolutely right.
Credit to him for not doing that.
That's correct. And our defense was not good last night.
So that's the thing. I feel like everyone is taking Ant and Julius deep today.
Yep.
And Julius definitely deserves it. I think Julius was not good at all and really hasn't been good throughout this series. Ant, on the other hand, I thought Ant was okay last night. Was he a superstar? And obviously we're at a point where when you get to Western Conference Finals and your superstar needs to be a superstar. So I get it. He didn't play at a superstar level. I thought for the most part he was all right.
He was all right.
Like the team put up, how many points did they have last night?
126.
I mean, like offense was not the issue. Like
no.
Ant was distributing and they were moving the ball around, and obviously you had guys hitting threes that really hadn't been previous. So like, I'm not that mad at how the superstars played. Well, Julius I am, but Ant specifically, I'm not that upset with how he played because the offense was scoring, and you should be able to win games scoring them. Just their defense can stop OKC.
Several text messages have come into the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line, 64686. This one says, OKC is simply better consistently. Edwards wants to be the star, but he needs to learn to create offensively. They've got you covered up, maybe move the ball a bit, and later you'll have the openings. It's like using the run to open up the deep ball in football. Here's one that says, OKC is really good, just are. OKC never went cold last night. It was a really fun game to watch. We needed them to miss a shot or two down the stretch, and they just wouldn't
They
miss.
executed every time.
Exactly. Wolves had nearly the same points off turnovers, and they would have beat almost any other team in the world last night. And I think that's absolutely accurate. Here's another one. Refs didn't turn the ball over 23 times. Refs didn't allow 17 offensive rebounds. refs have been fine. And
the rebounding was catastrophic last night.
It was catastrophic.
And I don't get how when we have Rudy Gobert on our team, we can't get more defensive rebounds.
Yeah. Well, they traded the wrong player. They shouldn't have traded Big Meow. They should have traded Rudy Gobert, the Stifle Tower. But I don't think New York had any interest in him. Rudy's really good defensively. He's a liability offensively. He gets the ball knocked away from him all the time. Remember when Randall got really mad earlier in the season? It's just here's one that says, comment I solved how to make everyone feel better. Give Ant a whistle as well and we win. Well, I'm not a blame the official guy. I'm just not. It's like in a game that there's no calls there that I think turned the tide in the game. There really wasn't. And there were plenty of fouls. How many fouls were there total for both teams? There were plenty called on Oklahoma City last night too. And as I'm watching a game, I've told you this before. I look at a call and say, well, that wasn't a foul or that was a foul, but you just know that's part and parcel with the game. There's no sense arguing about it. There's no sense ranting and raving about it, blaming the officials and pointing fingers, because that's going to happen in every single game. You are going to have calls go your way, calls that, you're going to get away with one where you fouled, but it wasn't called, or the other team didn't foul and you got the call. You see what I'm trying to say? It goes both ways.
I think the only game one, I thought the officials gave SGA phantom fouls. Other than that, the refs have been fine. Last night had nothing to do with the officiating.
Yeah. Well, here's again, this is the amount of fouls aren't the issue fans have with the refs. It's the disparity between what OKC is getting away with compared to ticky-tack calls on the Wolves. Let me guess, you're a Wolves fan, so you think they're every fan thinks that way. I guarantee you when there are fouls called on the Thunder fans are saying, well, that's ticky-tack.
I thought last night's game specifically, there were times the Wolves defensively were playing awfully physical, and I was surprised they weren't getting called fouls on it.
I completely agree with you.
Like the one that Conley blocked, who was the bigger guy that had the ball at the time? Like, he was mugging him before the block. Like, he basically had his arms wrapped around him like he was about to tackle him. He was giving him a hug.
Yes.
They were very physical in their own end.
Yes. They were very.
Which I think the refs should allow it. I prefer to watch that type of basketball.
Yes, I do too.
But officials had zero impact on that game.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. And now teams have, I don't know, I don't have the numbers in front of me. How many times does a team come back from a 3-1 deficit at any playoff series, regardless if it's first round, semifinals, conference finals, or NBA finals? I don't think it happens often. You got to win 2 at their place. And the Wolves are capable. I know people got really excited. I saw it on social and the Fish Wraps and the Athletic and nationally, where after the Wolves just destroyed the Thunder in Game 3, there were a couple of places I thought, boy, Thunder got to be doubting themselves a little bit now. No, they're not doubting themselves. That game got out. The Wolves came out because it was desperation, and they slugged the Thunder in the mouth not once, not twice, but 3-4 times. And the Thunder saw early, well, this ain't going our way. It was sort of like, remember when Golden State, was that the series against the Wolves, the game where they just gave up like midway through the second quarter and just started, they just said, well, we're just going to rest our main players because we're not going to expend the energy. They weren't going to come back and beat the Wolves in that game, so why bother? So we give them 1. We still got a 2-1 lead. It's a long series. We're not going to expend any more. And I'm not taking anything away from the Wolves because they forced the Thunder's hand by playing like they did. There were quotes again, and maybe I don't know if we're going to have a lot of time to get to them because we have to break here, and then we've got 534 coming up, and then program password. But there were some quotes that I saved, and I have them right here. Here's what Mike Connolly said. This was after the blowout game against the Thunder. He says, it just shows us more than anything of what we're capable of doing. So now we've set a standard for ourselves, like, why aren't we playing with this type of effort every night? So if we don't do it the next game, that's on us. It has nothing to do with them. I'll repeat that line. So now we've set a standard for ourselves, like, why aren't we playing with this type of effort every night? I've been asking that question all season. I've been asking that question of NBA teams for 3 decades since I've had a show. Where is the effort every night? Conley is admitting there's not effort there every night. The one thing that you can control and the other team has no control over is your effort. They might be able to come up with some defensive scheme that takes you out of your game. They might come up with an offensive game plan that takes you out of your game defensively. But effort should never be an issue in a basketball game. And Conley is admitting that effort has been a problem. So now we've set a standard for ourselves, like, why aren't we playing with this type of effort every night? That's what I want to know. Why aren't they playing with? Now, last night, I don't think was an effort issue. I think both teams, both teams were as efficient offensively. I don't know if there's anybody that's done a deep dive into the statistics. Have 2 teams in a playoff game ever shot that high of a percentage? It seemed like they made all it seemed like there were more shots made than missed last night. These teams were playing at an extremely high level offensively, shooting the basketball anyway. I mean, it was back and forth. This team makes a 3, the other makes a 3, it was back and forth all night. Here's another quote. This was from after the blowout game. This was Ant. OKC plays with a ton of energy no matter what, first through fourth quarter. So just trying to exceed their energy or match it at least, that was the most important thing today. That's why OKC has the best record in basketball. That's why OKC is the number 1 seed. That's why OKC has a 3-1 lead, because they play with a ton of energy no matter what. Ant says it, and they're trying to match that energy, and they did last night.
And they do it consistently.
And they do it consistently over and over and over. One other quote from Ant, same thing about energy. This was after the blowout victory for the Wolves. We wanted to put ultimate pressure on the ball and shoot it as much as I can. The adjustments are really not the biggest thing. It's bringing the energy and the effort. Why is that so hard? Look at the energy and effort I bring to this show Okay, I'm probably a bad example. Tenebee brings energy and effort every day. No, you do. I appreciate that.
I wouldn't say consistently.
No, yeah, you're right. I don't either, because sometimes it's just the way it is in radio.
I would say it's hard to put out full effort if your teammate's not putting out full effort.
Wow. Well, there's that, I guess. And you got me there, Tenemy. We're not going to agree on the traffic do's and don'ts. I can tell that, but I certainly agree with you. I don't always bring it. That energy and focus just isn't always there. We'll take a break. We'll come back with 534, Tenham with a tease. Please.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins is in the news today.
Ooh.
Want to feel more creative but don't have the right laptop? Lenovo.com can help. Look through our legendary lineup of AI-powered PCs and devices and find the one that fits your passion. Our PCs powered by Intel Core Ultra processors, as well as cutting-edge AI tools, allow students to focus, learn, and create with ease. That's the power of Lenovo with Intel inside. Plus, college students and teachers can get 5% off their order. Shop now on Lenovo.com. The future's waiting, and it needs you.
Hi, I'm Bob Pittman, Chairman and CEO of iHeartMedia. On this week's episode of Math and Magic, I'm sitting down with the one and only Bobby Bones. We're exploring the power of audio.
Yeah, I don't fit into one specific hole. I think that is what endeared me to listeners. That's why I'm here now, because I talk to people that grew up like me, have sensibilities like me, and have loyalties like me.
Listen to Math and Magic, Stories from the Frontiers of Marketing on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcast, or wherever you get your podcast.